I looked around and I noticed there wasn't a chair. I sat on a rug, biding my time, drinking her wine. We talked until 2, and then she said, it's time for bed. Fire, isn't it good? Norwegian Wood. Hey folks, today we're going to be discussing a Beatles classic, Norwegian Wood. I know there's a million guitar lessons for this on YouTube, and I'm not going to teach it any better than Mike Bocelli or any of these great Sam Popkin, all these great guys that do wonderful work, much higher level than I can do. But I decided, I want to cover some of these beautiful Beatles songs as well. Maybe you follow my channel and you want to learn how to play these songs, or maybe you're a new subscriber. So we're going to go right into Norwegian Wood. Let's get into it, of course, off the Rubber Soul album. I'm using a capo on the 2nd fret. Definitely John capoed this on the 2nd fret. The Beatles love capos. Now, the one thing, when I play this by myself at least, I like to do this kind of funky drop D or drop E, it would be, with the capo on the 2nd fret tuning. So I put the capo, if you can see, I've capoed the bottom 5 strings and I'm leaving the low E string open. So when you play the D with the capo on 2, it's an E chord. And then you've got the low E. So I don't think John played it that way in the recording session because he had a band and a bass guitar and stuff. But if you're playing this by yourself, it's nice to not have to change tunings. Not that it's hard to drop D, but it's so easy to just stick your capo on there, leave that low E low, and you're basically in drop D. So that's how I play it. Again, play it your way, play it the Beatles way, do whatever you want. So now let's get into the iconic riff, right? So that's most of the song right there. So it's all in a D chord, right? So you're playing that D chord. And again, this is why I like that low D bass. Again, I'm going to call everything with the capo on 2. So we're going to start on the G string, on the 3rd string, if you don't know. So let's see. We got it. It's 2. You could hammer on if you want, but 2, 4, 2, open. And then on the D string, 4. And then 2, open G. Back to 4, open D, and then on the A string, 3, and then I play the open G, and then B, and then A. I mean, you're going to play it with the bass. So we'll do that one more time, right? So D, it's all done with a D shape. So D, 2 on the 3rd string, G string, D, 2, 4, 2, open. Now on the D string, 4, 2, open G, back to the D string, 4, open D. On the A, you're playing the C note, open G, back to B, to the open A. So again, that's just practice that, you'll get it. And again, I like that bass there. Kind of adds the drone of the sitar a little bit. So again, when you play that anywhere, people recognize it immediately. So this is a great song. I play this one all the time, especially if I'm playing like a solo acoustic set. All right, so that's probably 80% of the song right there. So just get that down. And then the next part, we go to a D minor, to a G. And again, because you're not dropping the low E string, you can just finger the chords normally. That's why it's so kind of fun. People call this a trick. I call it a technique, right? So it's nice. You don't have to play your G chord differently. And then back to D minor. And this time to E minor. And I kind of like it with the low E there. To an A. And then everything's the same. Back to D. Now we'll go D minor to a G chord. I play the 4-finger G, but back to D minor to an E minor to an A major and back to D one more time. That's it, folks. Not going to keep you longer. That is Norwegian Wood. What a classic Beatles song, classic John Lennon song. Beautiful sitar by George Harrison. Just a full Rubber Soul production. I've been going back into Rubber Soul again. Not that I ever forgot about it. And I'm hoping we get the reissue soon and maybe some outtakes and demos. So again, that's Norwegian Wood. Check out other people's lessons if you like, but that's the Judge Timbers way. And again, I would suggest if you're playing this by yourself, in a coffee house, in an open mic, try the little trick drop D. I'm going to call it drop D. It's drop E, obviously, but I call it drop D tuning to just give it a little more fuller sound. If you're playing with other musicians, you don't really need to do that. I would just capo it fully and let the bass guitar do its thing and all the other instruments. So folks, thanks you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm wearing my Liverpool shirt, if you can see. I just got this gifted to me. Really appreciate it from the giftor. Thank you folks so much. I will see you soon. Take care.